Hold up. Just when you thought things couldn't get any wilder, bombshell updates on the Abercrombie and Fitch scandal are about to blow your mind. Picture this: high-profile executives, hidden agendas, and victims finally breaking their silence. And oh, did you hear that Diddy's name is popping up in all this? Yeah, it's one messy situation you won't want to miss, so let's dive into the chaos together. Alright, y'all. You know there's been major drama swirling around some pretty powerful names lately. From fashion moguls to music icons, no one seems safe from the skeletons tumbling out of their closets. Today, we're talking about Abercrombie and Fitch's former CEO, Mike Jeffries, and his right-hand man, Matthew Smith, who are accused of being up to some seriously disturbing stuff. And Diddy, yes, the Diddy, is reportedly caught up in the fallout. So, what went down? And why are people saying these execs ran an enterprise that was out of control? It all started when a few brave victims decided they couldn't stay silent anymore. For years, they say, they were promised glitzy careers in fashion and modeling by Jeffries and Smith, but the reality was nothing short of a nightmare. These young men were lured in with dreams of fame and success, only to find themselves trapped in situations they never signed up for. Allegedly, they were coerced, manipulated, and even drugged to comply with the demands of these execs, who used their power and influence for deeply dark reasons. Now, if that doesn't sound wild enough, let's add the fact that there's actual evidence showing this so-called recruitment process was carefully planned and covered up. The BBC first broke the story, revealing that between 2008 and 2015, dozens of men were allegedly manipulated into these situations. And the details? Beyond disturbing. Sources say Jeffries and Smith specifically targeted young, straight men who wouldn't even consider certain things, and then forced them into situations that no one should ever face. But it didn't stop there. These men were allegedly stripped of personal items like phones and wallets to keep them from reaching out for help. To make things even sketchier, Jeffries and Smith apparently had hotel staff on their payroll to prevent these men from leaving. Imagine feeling like there's no way out, knowing the people in power are watching your every move. And then the plot thickens. Word on the street is that Diddy might have been one of Jeffries's and Smith's associates. Allegedly, he attended some of these events or was, at the very least, aware of what was happening. Some say this is just an attempt to drag Diddy down, but let's be real. Diddy's been in hot water himself with similar accusations. So what's the truth here? Could he have played a part, or is this just a smear campaign? Recently, more allegations emerged that Diddy also had his own, let's say, questionable parties. Victims have come forward saying he manipulated and even drugged them, similar to what Jeffries and Smith allegedly did. One victim claims that when she was just 13, she was invited to one of Diddy's parties by someone who worked for him. This party, she says, turned into a nightmare when she drank a spiked beverage, leaving her too drowsy to defend herself. She remembers being assaulted by Diddy and an unnamed celebrity. Just let that sink in for a moment. And that's not all. A 17-year-old male victim recently came forward saying that in 2022, he was invited to one of Diddy's parties with promises of mentorship to help break into the music business. But according to the lawsuit, things took a dark turn when he was given a drink that left him dizzy and disoriented. The allegations are that Diddy then took advantage of his condition, and the details, as you can imagine, are horrifying. These shocking accusations aren't isolated. Reports have been emerging of other alleged victims who were lured by big promises, only to face horrifying circumstances. As more victims break their silence, it seems like this case against these powerful figures is growing by the day. And if you think it's bad now, brace yourself because it's only getting messier. According to court documents, Jeffries and Smith weren't just running this operation casually. They reportedly had a whole system. Sources say they hired a recruiter, James Jacobson, who would scout young men aspiring to break into modeling. Jacobson allegedly paid them to audition for Jeffries and Smith at private parties. Some of these parties were private, but others were large, glitzy events where anything could happen. And if the men were hesitant, they were reportedly encouraged to participate through threats and pressure. It was also reported that Jeffries and Smith would use every tactic in the book to ensure these men complied. They'd be given substances, Viagra, alcohol, and other drugs to lower their resistance, with staff keeping close watch so they couldn't leave. Imagine thinking you're going to a glamorous event, only to find yourself in a literal nightmare. In a recent twist, the U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District has finally charged Jeffries, Smith, and Jacobson on multiple counts, including exploitation and abuse. Jeffries reportedly posted a $10 million bond, and Jacobson a $500,000 bond to stay out of jail while awaiting trial. But prosecutors aren't letting them off that easily. In fact, they're calling for other victims to come forward to build an even stronger case. And from the sound of things, these men could be facing a long time time behind bars. But here's where it gets even spicier. Insiders say this operation might not be limited to just these three men. Rumors are swirling about other high-profile figures who could also be implicated, either as enablers or participants. Some people close to the case suggest that there might be a wider network, with additional executives and celebrities caught up in this dark circle. And if that's true, we might be looking at one of the biggest scandals to shake up Hollywood and the fashion industry in years. Can you imagine if even more household names get dragged into this mess? Adding fuel to the fire, several of the alleged victims are reportedly considering working with major media outlets to share their full stories. This means we could be seeing in-depth interviews, podcasts, and documentaries that reveal even more horrifying details. Some say these victims want to set the record straight and make sure that the public knows exactly what happened to them. If they go through with this, it's going to be impossible for these powerful figures to sweep it under the rug any longer. And let's not forget the fallout for Abercrombie and Fitch. Since this scandal broke, the brand has been trying to distance itself from Jeffries and Smith, who had already left the company. But public opinion is divided, with many calling for the company to do more to take responsibility and make amends for what happened on its watch. People are wondering, did the brand's leadership know about these allegations all along and turn a blind eye? Abercrombie and Fitch has already faced controversies over the years, but this could be a final blow to its reputation. Meanwhile, more details are surfacing about Diddy's alleged involvement. While he hasn't responded directly to these new allegations, some of his past behavior is being re-examined under a new light. Fans are starting to ask questions they never dared to before, especially about how he's managed to stay so powerful for so long, even when whispers about his behavior have circulated for years. Could this be the moment where the music industry's dark secrets are finally exposed? And with the legal process moving forward, one thing's for sure. There's going to be a lot more drama before we see any resolution. Will Jeffries, Smith, and Jacobson face justice? Will Diddy finally have to answer for these allegations? Or will their money and influence keep them untouchable? Either way, this case has already changed how we look at some of the most powerful people in the entertainment and fashion industries. So buckle up, because it's only going to get more intense from here. And don't think the public is just going to sit back and watch. Many are demanding that these powerful men finally face consequences, pushing for justice and transparency in the industries they've exploited. Social media is buzzing, and it seems the world is no longer willing to ignore these dark sides of fame and power. Every post, every tweet, it's a call for accountability. So, what do y'all think? Will we finally see justice served? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and let's keep this conversation going, because if there's one thing clear, it's that this story is far from over. And don't forget to check out this other video for more juicy details, because trust me, this saga, it's just getting started.